Hi, welcome back to Therapy Designs. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelly, and this channel is all about teaching you how to create print-on-demand designs that sell. And be sure to stay tuned till the end of the video because I have another 5 bonus niches for you. So in today's video, I want to show you how I created this design right here using Canva. Now, this is my listing. I'm on Amazon right now. I'm showing you this on the tank top. Of course, I've got it available on t-shirts, on sweatshirts, on hoodies, on just about, well, yes, every product that Amazon merch has. But I do want to show you how I created this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and jump over to Canva. So right now I am on Canva's home page, and we're going to go ahead and just create a custom size. So we're going to go up to the right-hand side where it says custom size. You can click on that. And I design for all of my clothing using 4500 by 5400 pixels. So I am going to go ahead and select that. So it's going to pull up a blank page for you. Now you can select your background color here. Typically, the darker colors are going to sell best. So I usually will optimize my designs for black or a dark heather gray or navy. Those are going to be sort of the top selling colors. So I'm going to go ahead. Usually I select black as my background color, but I'm going to go ahead and just select a really dark gray this time, because occasionally we get graphics that are black and then I can't see them if they're on the black background, but I can see them if they're on the dark heather gray. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with that. So this design is really pretty easy. The first thing we're going to do is look for a surfboard. Now I went ahead and looked for a surfboard outline. So if we go to the left-hand side of the page and go up to where it says elements, you can click on that and we can use some search terms here. And I'm going to go ahead and select surfboard outline. And I'm going to go to graphics and I'm going to click see all. And you can see all the different surfboard outlines that you can choose from. And of course, you can do this however you want, so it doesn't necessarily have to be an outline. You can use just a regular surfboard. I'm going to go up to the top, and I'm actually going to select one of the ones at the top here. So this one here looks pretty cool, pretty straightforward. Now this is black, and so this one is not going to let me change the color, which is why I went ahead and just went with a dark gray background for this. So we're going to leave it right here, make sure it's centered in your page. Right? And then we're going to start looking for some other things that we can put in here. So I wanted to add sort of a tropical leaf and maybe a hibiscus and then some palm trees, really give it a nice tropical look. So I'm going to go ahead and start with maybe hibiscus. And I'm looking for something like this, one of those ones that's solid colored. Ideally, not too much in the way of the white. So something like this one where it's a little bit more solid. I can scroll down and see what the different options are. A lot of them are very similar. I do like this one here because it gives, it's a lot more solid. And so I can go ahead and maybe for this, I'll just go ahead and make the background white. We'll just keep it easy. That way it matches here. Make sure that this white is the same white because we need those to be the exact same colors. And I might go ahead and flip this. So if I want to flip it, I can go to the top where it says flip, click that. I'm going to flip it horizontally so that it's angled outward a little bit and maybe move it something like that. And that looks pretty cool there. I can make it a little bigger, a little smaller, depending on what I'm going for. So I like that there, and I can also angle it if I want to. Next, I'm going to look for a tropical leaf. So I'm just going to go ahead and go tropical leaf. And again, I'm going to go to graphics. And we can pick any one of the graphics we like. There's lots of different tropical leaves. So this first one here looks pretty simple, but again, you can go with any of the ones you like. Ideally, you want it to be one solid color or something that you can make one solid color. So for simplicity's sake, I'm going to go back up to the top and just pick this one here. And I'm going to go ahead and make that black. Okay, so far, all of the colors are either black or white. I'm going to angle this one out maybe, shrink it down. I want it to be roughly the same size as the flower, so not too big, not too little. That looks pretty good. I can again change the angle if I want to angle it out more. So something like that looks pretty cool so far. Next, we're going to go ahead and put in the text, and then I'm going to put some palm trees above the text. So I'm just going to hit T on my keyboard. If you hit T on your keyboard, that's just going to pull up a text box. And what we're going to write in is, well, I'm doing it for Moorea. So unless you, in case you don't know, Moorea is an island in French Polynesia. It's part of Tahiti. It is a great place to go if you don't have it on your bucket list or if you haven't been. It's right near Bora Bora. So again, you can pick any island that you want or any location that you want. So it doesn't have to be Moorea. It could be the name of a beach. It could be the name of an island. It could be anything. It could be Aloha. It could be Hawaii. But whatever your word happens to be, that's what we're going to put in here. And I actually don't want that to be in all caps. Oops, so why did we do this? Hold on one second. I wanted that to be lowercase here. There we go. So Moorea, like that. Now I want to pick a font that's going to be kind of bold, and I want it to kind of give, you know, the surf vibe, sort of. I was going for that retro style, kind of groovy look. So you can pick any font that you want. You want it to be bold enough and easy enough to read, but I'm going to go over to font. And there's a few different ways that you can search. So I can search retro, I can search groovy, I can search bold. Let's see, I'm just going to put in retro and see what comes up. And there's a bunch of them here. Here's retro lettering regular, which I think is the one that I ended up going with. But you can see that there's just lots of different fonts that you can choose from. And of course, you don't have to go retro, but that's what I decided to go with. Some of these other ones kind of look cool. I mean, that could be cool in and of itself. But I'm going to go ahead and stick with the one that I used, which was the retro lettering. And I may have gotten this off of Creative Fabrica. If you're not familiar, creativefabrica.com has all sorts of different graphics, and it's got tons of freebies, like thousands upon thousands of free fonts that you can go and you can download those free fonts and you can just upload them right to Canva and use them. So this may be one that I did get for free. So I've got my Moorea here and a few things I wanted to do to kind of make this look cool. So one of the things I was thinking of doing, maybe elevating this a little bit. Maybe I was going to angle this a little bit. So it was at a slight angle, nothing too much, maybe, you know, 4 there, and maybe even give it just a slight curve. So I can go over to effects at the top, scroll down to where you see curve, and then we can adjust to that curve. So I want to give it just the tiniest curve. So something like that. So that's at a 31. So it's a very small curve. And I've got it sort of angled like that just to give it a little bit of a different look. And so far, so good. And then I wanted to throw some palm trees in here. So let's go ahead and search palm trees. And we can go with any palm tree we want. Again, I'm looking for something simple, ideally something that's just going to be solid black. So something like this one here would work really well. And the idea is just sort of shrink that down. And it would go something like that. And I can crop it so that it doesn't, you know, go into the word here. But for right now, that looks okay. I need one more palm tree. And then I'll show you how this is all going to come together, because I know right now, while it's overlapping, it doesn't look super great. But we are going to take care of that. So I'm just going to look for one more palm tree, very similar look. Right, so here's one. They're both very similar in style. So let's go ahead, flip this one, I'm thinking. So let's flip it horizontal so that it's going the other way. Maybe I make this one a little bit higher or taller than the other one. There we go. So that looks pretty cool right there. So now we've got this. So how are we going to take care of all of these overlapping things? Well, easy. We're going to add some outlines. And what we're going to do with the outlines is essentially make them the same color as the background, and then we can do a background remover on it. So starting with Moorea, I'm going to go to Effects. We're just going to go ahead and go to Outline, and I'm just going to select that white. Okay, and now we can make that outline as thick as we want, and it's just going to show you how much is going to, you know, cut off here. So you can see where it's going to cut off around the surfboard. And so something like that looks pretty cool. And so you can already see it start to pop. I'm going to do the same thing with the graphics, but with the graphics, we're going to have to go to Edit at the top. And then we will scroll down to where you see FX Effects, and we'll go to Shadows. And from here, we'll do Outline. And you're going to go ahead, select again, white. So you can drag that all the way up till it's nice and white. So now I've got my outline there. And again, I can go with my size for my outline as thick as I want to make sure that I get a good gap there. Now I do want the flower to be above the leaf. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Control in my right bracket just to bring that layer forward so that it looks like the flower's over the leaf. I'm going to do the same thing here with the leaf now. We're going to go to Edit again. We'll scroll down to Effects. I'm going to go to Outline. I'm going to go ahead and select white. So make sure you go all the way up. And then again, I'm going to adjust the size of that so that my kind of crop is about the same in terms of the thickness there. So you can start to see the gaps. And so that looks pretty cool there. And then I'm also going to do it for the palm trees here because they do overlap the surfboard. I won't have to do it for the surfboard because that is going to be the back layer. So let's go ahead and select the palm tree one more time, Edit, go ahead and get a shadow, get the outline, make sure that we get white. There we go. And again, you can select how much of an outline you're going to get. That's just going to give you how much of a gap you're going to get around the leaves there. And so that looks pretty cool. And then the last one here. So we're going to Edit, Shadows, Outline. I'm going to go up to white. And then one more time, make that outline as thick as we want to so that we get a pretty even gap. And so now what you can see is we've got the whole look that looks really cool. And so that is what you want. Now you want this to be pretty much two colors. Doesn't matter which colors you use, but they need to be two contrasting colors. Okay, so right now it's pretty good. I've got all of the graphics in black and then the background in white. And those are the only two colors I should have. And if I was to go ahead and, go to my colors, so text color, and I pull this up, document colors, there should only be two document colors. So you don't want any off whites or off blacks. They really need to be solid black. And you can hover over each one to make sure that the hex code is 0 all the way across for the blacks if you want to, and make sure that the white hex code is all the way across with the Fs. So once you've got this, we're going to go ahead and we're going to download it. Now you don't need a transparent background. We're going to keep everything as is. So it's a PNG. I'm just going to go ahead and hit download. And it's going to download the whole thing as is with the white background. Perfect. Now once you've done that, we can go ahead and add a page here. And I'm going to go ahead and make that page. Let's make it a different color. I'm going to go ahead and make it gray. That way I can see. Now we're going to go to the left-hand side of the tabs where you see uploads. If you click on that, you can hit upload files. It'll pull up your downloads, and then we're going to go ahead and just select the file that we just did. So there's my Morea file. I can click on that, and it's going to pull it over here. And then I can go ahead and just close this. So now that I've got this, what I want to do is get rid of the background. So to do that, we're just going to try the background remover. And assuming everything goes well, it should get rid of all of the white and just keep the black. Now, things don't always work out perfectly, and sometimes I have to do a little playing around. But this one should be pretty straightforward, and it is. So that was quick and easy. That no problem. So there is my graphic. Now I can go ahead and do a few things with this if I want to. I can change the color of it to another solid color, and I can do that by using duotone. So if I go to this and I go to Edit, I'm going to go down to where you see duotone. So it's right next to shadows. Click that. And it doesn't matter which one of these you select because we can change the colors. So what we would do then would be to change it to whatever color we wanted. So if I'm just going for white on a black background, I can just change that shadow color to white, and there you go. But I could also make it any other color. So if I wanted it to be like a bright teal or something, maybe a really bright teal, I could do it something like that. And so you can select any color that you want. If you want it to be a little bit more greenish teal, you could do something like that. And so really you can make it any color that you want. So let's just say I did that, and let's say I was going to put it on a black shirt or black tank top. That's how it would look. This might be cool too, because you could do this one on black. You could also probably do it on white if you picked a dark enough shade. So maybe you want a slightly darker shade, but it could go on pretty much either color shirt. And so there you can see how it would look on both. I'm going to go ahead and make this, again, nice and big on the page. I might crop it in, blow it up, make sure it's centered, and there we go. And that's pretty cool. So it's ready to go. The other thing that you could potentially do is put a clipping mask on it. So if you wanted to do some sort of a like sunset or gradient style clipping mask, we could get gradients across here too. So instead of doing one solid color, we could have it be a gradient from like maybe like a yellow down to an orange down to a red kind of thing, and do a gradient on it doing clipping masks. I'm not going to get into that in this video. I have tons of videos showing how to do clipping masks. So if you haven't seen them, you can go over to my channel and look at all of my print-on-demand videos. It's pretty quick and easy to do using Photopea, and it's totally free. But for this one, this is good enough. So once you've got it the way you want it, you go ahead and title it. So I'm going to title this Morea. Let's go surf. Oops, surf. And then it's ready to go. So I can just go ahead and go to share. Download. This time you do want the transparent background, because if we're going to put it on a shirt, we don't want this black box. We just want the graphics. So you go ahead and hit transparent background. If you have more than one page, be sure that you select the page that you're on. So my current page is 2. Hit done, and then you can hit download. And now it is ready to go. So now what you could do with this PNG would be to upload it to whoever your print provider is. So if you're on Etsy, you may use Printful or Printify, and you would upload it there. If you're on Amazon Merch, you would just go ahead and then upload it to Amazon Merch, and you can put it on whatever products that you want from there. So pretty straightforward, easy to do. If you have questions about this, drop it in the comments section below. I try to get back to everybody as quickly as I can. And again, you can scale this out. So now that we've got our base, there would be nothing stopping me from changing the text here. And I don't even have to, mess with this one. What I would do would be to duplicate the page. So I've got my original Morea, and then I could work on this one, and I could change this to, let's say, Bora, something like that. I might shrink it down a little bit because it's a little bit big. So maybe something like that. But you can see how I could just go ahead and change it, and then I would repeat all the same steps that I did for this one. But you could scale this out pretty immensely. So just thoughts out there. Now I do have this one up, so try not to copy it exactly, but you can certainly make your own versions of this and use this basic style to create a whole bunch of your own unique designs. And because you guys were so patient and you did wait until the end of the video, again, I do have your 5 bonus niches. So without any more waiting, these are your 5 bonus niches. And I did go ahead and try to select some evergreens for you because I do at this point prefer to do evergreens over, holiday designs, only because of the return rate can be pretty high for some of the holiday design stuff. So the evergreens are great because, again, you can sell them year round, year after year. And so that's what I'm kind of trying to focus on now. So anyways, without any more waiting. So number 1, 5 a.m. club, or I've seen 5 a.m. squad, 5 a.m. crew. So however you want to do that, just go ahead and make sure that you've trademarked whatever terms you use. Number 2, 2 brides are better than 1. Of course, this is an LGBTQ plus design, and those do sell really well year round, and wedding stuff sells really well year round. So both very good niches there. Number 3, let spiders live. Number 4, kinder crew, which again could be scaled out to first grade crew or preschool crew or pretty much anything crew. And then number 5, silence is compliance. And so that's just a political design. Those always sell really well. Just be very careful with how you word them and whatnot. But these are, again, good selling niches that I did check on Amazon Merch. And so these are all selling right now. Again, if you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. I hope you guys are doing really well with your designing and your sales, and I do hope to see you guys again. That's it for today's video. If you found that useful and would like to see more videos with helpful tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe. and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the weekly videos. As always, keep growing and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.